Let me share something most people have never been told, something ancient wisdom knew, and something modern science is finally starting to rediscover. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your portal. When we experience physical pain, especially the kind that lingers, that defies diagnosis, that makes us question our own sanity, we are not just battling nerves and muscles. No, we are engaging in a conversation with the deepest parts of ourselves. And yet, what are we told? We are told to silence pain, numb it, fear it, fight it. But the more we resist, the louder it becomes. And so I say to you, what if the goal is not to fight, but to listen? Let us begin with Claude Bristol, who taught us the immense power of our beliefs. In The Magic of Believing, he wrote, "We usually get what we anticipate." Bristol believed the mind was not merely an observer of reality, but a shaper of it. When you believe in your own healing, your cells take that belief as instruction. This is not just imagination. This is instruction. And yet, belief without awareness becomes delusion. So we turn to Alan Watts, who reminds us that we are not separate from the universe. We are the universe. He once said, "You are a function of what the whole universe is doing, in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing." You see, the body and mind are not in opposition. They are not two substances constantly at war. They are one interwoven fabric of existence. When we feel pain, we must ask, what am I holding? What am I resisting? That's where Carl Jung enters. Jung, who saw pain not as sensation, but as the voice of the shadow. Those parts of ourselves that were exiled long ago. Trauma, grief, shame, buried beneath the threshold of our awareness, and yet constantly seeking expression, often through our own bodies. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." I say, until you bring compassion to your pain, it will command your body and you will call it disease. But friends, there is hope, tremendous hope. Because as Earl Nightingale taught, we are goal-seeking mechanisms. Earl said, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become reality. So imagine if, each day, you planted healing instead of fear, calm instead of chaos, trust instead of tension. Imagine what would grow inside of your nervous system, inside your very biology. This is not fantasy. This is neuroplasticity. This is real. Let me give you a story. A man I once knew had CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome, fire in his limbs. He tried everything, pills, procedures, pain clinics. Nothing worked. He was told, "You'll have to live with this for the rest of your life." But something in him refused. He turned inward, not in despair, but in curiosity. He began daily visualizations of cold water flowing over his limb. He practiced meditation. He journaled his emotions that surfaced when the pain flared. He stopped fighting, and he started listening. Over time, the pain didn't vanish overnight, but it softened. It became a teacher. It showed him every place he had abandoned himself. And then, he began to heal, not just physically, but spiritually. Because healing is not returning to who you were, it is becoming who you were meant to be. Here's the paradox. The more we resist pain, the more power it gains. The more we understand it, not as punishment, but as messenger, the more it transforms. So what do? You start where you are. You breathe. You stop asking yourself, why me? And start asking, what is this here to reveal? You affirm, not blindly, but deliberately. You say things like, I am not broken. I am not afraid of this pain. I am learning from it. Each breath brings more calm to my body. My mind is powerful. My body is listening. Repetition, visualization, presence, purpose. Claude Bristol called it the magic of belief. Alan Watts called it the wisdom of now. Carl Jung called it integration. Earl Nightingale called it definite purpose. But I call this the alchemy of pain, the act of turning suffering into signal, turning fire into fuel, turning the wounded self into the wise self. Because when you understand your pain, you change your relationship to it. And when the relationship changes, so does the body. The brain rewires, the system recalibrates, and what once felt permanent becomes fluid. This is not easy work. It is sacred work. It demands presence, patience, and a kind of fierce hope that says, I believe in a future where my body no longer sees pain as necessary. So I'll leave you with this. Close your eyes tonight. Feel into the pain, not as adversary, but as messenger. Then breathe, smile at it, say thank you. I'm listening now. And watch as your body, that faithful servant, begins to remember what wholeness feels like.